Hey everybody, it's Scott Galden with Simmons Floorcovering and Total Renovations, and this video will help answer all of the questions you need to know before you buy your vinyl plank flooring project. Thanks for giving us an opportunity to talk with you today. Here's a couple of things to consider about your project. The first thing you want to decide is what installation method you want to use for your vinyl plank. There's two different types of installation methods. There's a glue down and there's a floating. Years ago, we used to do a lot of glue down plank, but now we're doing more floating plank. However, if your project involves rolling stock, meaning a wheelchair or something that's having to roll across the floor on a regular basis, I recommend that you stay with a glue down product. Otherwise, recommend that you use one of our floating products. Those tend to be the best installations. One thing that's important to keep in mind is that your vinyl plank project is going to need to have a smooth surface. So there may be situations in the installation where we need to do some floor prep and flatten out the floor. So be prepared for that. And also, all of the manufacturers now recommend that you use a 6mm poly underlayment so that there's an underlayment to prevent moisture from coming up through and affecting your floor. So be prepared for there to be an underlayment required for your installation. And another thing that we're going to recommend is that in every case that you acclimate the floor so that the floor is delivered to your house before the project. It's allowed to meet the same temperature and humidity as your floor so that it doesn't change shape once it gets installed in your house. Another thing to consider on your vinyl plank floor is how it's constructed. There's two primary types of vinyl plank on the market today. One is called SPC, or stone plastic composite, and the other is WPC, or wood plastic composite. This is an example of a SPC, or a stone plastic composite. It's basically the filler, or the core, is based on a stone polymer. And then on top of that is a photograph that they've taken of wood. And on top of that is the wear layer, or the finish. And then below that is the cushioning of this. This one happens to have an IXP, or it's basically a rubber type pad. This product is a WPC vinyl plank. It has a thicker middle. It's a little bit bigger product. Vinyl on top, photo, and then beneath this one has cork as the backing. Now, WPC is going to feel fuller underneath your feet. I like it as a product. They typically have better looks, but the SPC can handle higher pounds per square inch. So if you have like a piano or something like that, you want to use this type product. This product still has a lot of air in the middle of it, and it's not, it has a limited amount of PSI that you can put on it. Probably one of the most important things to consider is how many screens are used in the construction of your vinyl plank. Meaning, how many times is this pattern going to be repeated? In a lot of low-end product, you'll see as few as 4 screens. So when you look at the floor, you're going to see the same 4 planks over and over again. On your higher end products, you're going to have multiple screens. So one question you might want to ask is, how many screens are included in this particular line of flooring? Now let's talk a minute about the fashion of the flooring, because ultimately it's about what it looks like on your floor. So here's some things to keep in mind about the fashion. First off is wider planks are real prevalent in vinyl plank today. The planks typically go 7, 8, sometimes even 9 inches wide. Want to be a little bit careful. If you have small rooms, you may want to try to find a little bit smaller plank because larger planks tend to eat up a lot of space. Another thing that you want to consider is right now lighter colors are in. So lighter, brighter, more natural colors. You can obviously use any color you want, but what you're going to see a lot of in the market today are lighter, more natural colors. The big thing that when it comes to fashion that's a determinant of the quality of the product is what type of texture goes on top. So for example, this is an entry grade product right here. This is an entry grade product. It has some texture on it, but the texture doesn't line up with the photo that goes underneath it. So that when you see this in with the light coming across it, you'll just see that it has some texture, but it doesn't really match what's underneath it. This product has what's called embossed in register texture. So for example, right here where there's a knot, I can actually feel texture that matches up with that knot. So when you look at this product with the sun coming across it, it seems to match up and looks a lot more realistic. So before you buy your product, make sure you lay it out and let the sunlight go across it, and that you're comfortable with what the texture looks like on it. You're not going to be able to see that in a small sample, so make sure you get a larger sample, take a look at it. That'll help make sure that you make the right decision for you. The other thing to consider about your fashion statement is what type of bevel do you want on the edges? Most entry-level products don't have a bevel. They're kind of squared, and the downside is when you see them on the floor, it looks like almost like a sheet vinyl. Everything runs together. Where if you have a bevel around the edges or a pillow top, it starts to look like each individual plank is different. So make sure and ask your project manager what type of bevel your product has, and that'll help you decide what it's going to look like once it gets on the floor. I hope this video has been helpful in giving you some of the things that you want to think about before you make your next purchase. If you have additional questions, we would love to be able to answer them for you. We feel like an educated consumer is our best customer. So give us a chance to give you some more education on this. We look forward to getting an opportunity to work with you on your project.